like the smallest win is a win, right?
Yeah.
But people struggle with that. However, you know, when people have had a bad day, lots has gone wrong. And if you got them to say, right, write down what has gone wrong with your day and then read them back to me, the likelihood is they're going to be tiny little things that have just got into your head and annoyed you or got in your way or took some energy away from you, okay?
Yeah.
So they get exacerbated. But people struggle to apply that to wins, to the positive side of it, because they go, well, that was tiny. And then they make it smaller.
Yeah.
Whereas a tiny problem can become bigger. Do you know what I mean? That tends to be how our brains work. And I don't know why. So
I think the thing is that in kind of modern world, there's just so much stimulus. I mean, that's what I get frustrated with, is just I'm overstimulated in so many ways. You know, I'm having to do so many tasks. And I think what I mentally struggle with is, how do I become actually present in my own life? Despite, you know, I'm doing a lot of well-being things. I think if I was doing this, if I was having a similar job without my focus on well-being, I'd be a total mess. You know, I'd be much seriously overweight. I'd probably be, you know, candidate for kind of metabolic disease and all those kind of things quite easily. And I at times have a feeling that I am like King Canute, trying to get the ocean to go back, and that is, I think, that is a symptom of running my own business. It is a symptom of my own mindset, and it is a symptom of modern pace of life, and all of which at times, if you are not ever, I have a feeling, I think where it's easy to have that negative mindset, and it's easy to have that to start speaking in the wrong language, but it is easy to feel like you are constantly fighting an encroachment in your own personal space. And probably the mindset is to think, actually, I am the one carving my way through this quite successfully. I am the snow plow, as opposed to the person who's been subject to the avalanche. And I think trying to get your mind around that is my big challenge, is to say, right, I'm the snow plow. I'm the one just going through it, making my own path, rather than the person shoring up the shed so it doesn't get knocked down when the avalanche hits, you know?
Yeah, but the problem with that, I think, is that it's just a lot of effort.
It's
a lot of effort.
Exhausting.
And you can be the snowplow, but how long for? You know, that's I mean, fair enough, a snowplow might work for a couple of months a year, and then you don't need it, depending on where you are, but you don't need it for the rest of the year, because it's done the thing, it's kept it back, and then it's got warm again and all the snow's melted.
Yeah.
But if you're living in Siberia or somewhere and you're constantly doing that, you know what I mean? It takes a lot of energy, and so the well-being things like doing a workout, doing a session, getting stronger. That I find that great, but that's just something I do. That's not one of my well-being things, like the writing down wins, the journaling, you know, the actually spending time on me, but spending time on my mental state is what keeps me going. Which is something you don't get a chance to do if you're constantly somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been hearing a lot recently as well about decision fatigue, you know, so you know, you're making decisions all day, every day, without even thinking about it, subconsciously as well, without even thinking about it. So there's something like, I heard a stat the other day of, and whenever I quote stats, I don't know whether they're true or not, because I just heard it somewhere, right? But I think I'm pretty sure it was from a reputable source. And it was like something like, you can only hold 9 thoughts in your head at a time or something, but we have bloody 80,000 a day or whatever it is, something stupid, isn't it? So you can only hold 9 in your head. You can only pay attention to up to 9 at a time. But you're having these tens of thousands of others subconsciously. So imagine what that does in your brain. Especially if if a lot of them are negative, you know what I mean? Or a lot of them are positive, but they just happen subconsciously. So you give credence, is that the word, to ones that show up, which may be negative as well. So, you know, it's It's massive. It's a huge thing. And we were just talking about before we press record how, and I was saying, I'm in another group with a lot of trainers who are talking about this as well. And people are either more flaky this year, or there's people leaving when you wouldn't think that there would, people who uncharacteristically leaving, sort of thing as well. And obviously a lot has changed over the last couple of years with the pandemic and everything. And people, it seems to have been a shift in, I mean, there's a cost of living crisis and all, like there's lots of things happening. And I think people are just tired of all of this stuff and they can't work out what to do.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because I think there's so many options out there and they all seem that everything promises things all the time. But I think in reality, people are kind of like, well, these things haven't worked. You know, I'm unsure. I don't trust things. There's a lack of trust in the media. There's a lack of trust in professionals, in the sciences. You know, there's so much. For example, there's a lack of trust in the NHS and politics. You know, we don't trust our government because, you know, we're losing a prime minister at the moment. We don't trust the guidelines around COVID. Do we wear masks? Do we not wear masks? Do we take a vaccine? Do we not take a vaccine? Do we trust our institutions? Do we trust our media? Are they telling us the truth? Do they have an opinion? Are they on our side? Are they fear mongering? You know, you see it constantly everywhere. So it's just like this lack of trust is a fatiguing thing. And then me and you sit down with someone and say, hey, let's hit that 6 kilo weight loss in the next 6 weeks and let's do it.
Yeah. Do you want to be able to squat 100 kilos? They're like, I don't care. I don't know.
Look, I mean, all I know is that 60% of the time it works every time.
Yes. What's just happened there is what I want to, I mean, whether you want to post this in the Facebook group or anything, I'm talking to you guys here, the listeners, whether you want to post this in the Facebook group or not. What Paul has just gone through there, how did all that make you feel? What physically showed up while he was saying that? Because that stressed me out.
So I like to do that to you.
No, but obviously not like I'm not going to go and do anything silly or anything like that. But it's like, just when you talk about that in my brain, I'm just going, oh, for God's sake, like all this stuff, and it's like, which is why it's like you can let that affect you. You can let all of that stuff affect you, or you can just ignore it. Or let it into your life for an hour a day or however long, and then
that's it.
And then do what you would actually normally do anyway.